What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below. As usual, this video is entitled Being Black, Male, and Guilty. I saw the video of Ruben Foster, the linebacker from the 49ers that went to Alabama. His girlfriend last year said that he beat her. And then she broke down in court a couple of days ago or yesterday saying, the whole thing was a lie. And I just wanted to end his career. I wanted to ruin him because I was mad at him, basically. And I was watching a couple of the, like ESPN, L.A.R, and somebody else. And they were talking about this thing where, the media doesn't, see, everybody's going to know Ruben Foster for allegedly beating this girl, but now they're not going to push the narrative that he got lied on. So that's the thing about being black, male. You're guilty. Once you're guilty in a court of public opinion. And when you're guilty in a court of public opinion, you always guilty. And then, there's a story of a guy that just got released and his charges dropped because he was in jail since he was like 14. And now he's 39. Because basically the detective wanted somebody locked up for a murder that the kid didn't do when he was a kid. So now he's crying in the hands of the judges. It's like in New York. And the detective's like, I'm sticking by my story. I can't look myself in the face if I did that. Yeah, you can. You don't really care. You already took a good chunk of this man's life. Like, yeah, you enjoy this. People like you exist all the time. But the reason I'm bringing these things up is because far too often you hear stories, even after this Me Too thing. If you want to put Bill Cosby in, cool. But even with this thing with R. Kelly, he's black, he's male, he's guilty. I know people are going to say, but R. Kelly a pedophile, but R. Kelly a pervert, but R. Kelly been like this for years and you didn't care. But now, because R. Kelly ain't messing with young teenage girls no more, and these girls like 18, 21 and up, or 18 and up, or 21 and up, now he's guilty of being a freak. But the problem with being black, male, and guilty is this. Nobody's addressing these grown women's families or them as their decision to be in a harem of women. Nobody's addressing that. Because R. Kelly's black, male, and he's guilty. But it is what it is. And they say, stuff like this doesn't happen that often. I mean, I remember y'all was talking bad about Chris Brown, and I know he did this with this girl, and then the girl wound up lying, and her friend had to out her for that, right? But because he was black, he was male, he had to be guilty. And this ideology that we always guilty of everything under the sun is always prevalent. All the way to the first Birth of a Nation movie. Black, to the point where even part of these Root articles go into, that people was making fun of. Black, male, gotta be guilty. If something goes wrong in your life, blame a black man. To the point where, how many white girls have came out in the last year? Oh, I was attacked. I was raped by 3 black guys. They were all 6'2" and 6 feet tall. 225 pounds, and I was bald headed, and they drove a Cadillac Escalade. And they were playing Migos. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Right? Because gotta be guilty. I remember even a story with Eric Garner thing. Black, male, guilty. And I ain't talking about the part that y'all think. Remember, he was selling cigarettes. No, he wasn't. Not that. Remember, the initial video was he broke up a fight. But he was known for selling cigarettes. But everybody just ran where he was selling cigarettes that day. Because he's black male is guilty. Trayvon Martin, black male, got to be guilty of doing something. You know, that's the Georgia men. They always get away. But people don't want to scale it back and say, how can we keep doing this every time? Because what winds up happening is, are there guys who are actually guilty of things? Yeah. But what winds up happening is, when you come to find out after time has passed and all the media hype has died down, that some of these people that you put up to be publicly media crucified didn't do the things that you said, but it's too late, right? Just move on to the next guy. And if you're wrong publicly so many times in a row, there's got to be an issue. You know, it's an issue with the way you think. Because everybody's got to be suspicious. You know, back in the day, I did a video about women felt harassed when men would tell them to smile more. That's such an oppressive thing for a man to say to a woman. So I think you should smile. Oh, no! Whatever. But because you're a black male saying it, guilty. Think of the reverse of this. The young lady who jumped off of the building with the kid in her hand and killed herself and a child. And the reason why I say black male and guilty is because they are making excuses for this lady. I mean, they say maybe it's murder, maybe it's suicide, maybe it was an accident. Okay. The woman that lied on Ruben Foster. Or maybe, you know, maybe she was hurt. Maybe she has mental issues. Maybe she has daddy issues. I don't think people always go out here and lie and then just would try to destroy people. Yeah, you do. They do it all the time. That's what happens. You know, even a thing, I could go back even with football to Joe Mixon. He beats women. Look, man, y'all need to stop getting in grown men face, picking fights with him and swinging on him, and then all of a sudden, if he swings back, he's a woman beater. No, he defended himself. I know some of y'all hate to hear that. You know, guys go to bars, y'all feel like y'all could walk up on them and spit in their face and call them nigga and just, I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to play the victim. Because you black, you male, and you got to be guilty. People forget about the Kanye West thing. When a dude was cussing out Kim Kardashian, calling her a nigga lover, and Kanye rolled up, and TMZ was there, had it all on tape, but they didn't put that out, did they? And Kanye wound up getting sued for like $250,000 from the guy who basically picked a fight with a pregnant woman because of the stereotype of black male and guilty. You know, like I said, there are people who are guilty of stuff, absolutely. Some of us, we do silly things, absolutely. But the problem is, because we're black males, we're automatically assumed as guilty. And then when it comes out that we're not guilty, all y'all go radio silent. Like, well, because you're a black male, you could have been guilty. So, I mean, you don't need an apology. You don't need to, you don't need restitution. You don't need somebody to fix this situation because, you know, we still think, you know, because you're black, another black guy's got to be guilty if you're not guilty. And this part of what I was talking about earlier with the detective who, you know, was like, oh, you know, I believe in this statement. There's a lot of families who believe that a guy did it even though they found out he didn't do it. I mean, the president still believes the Central Park 5 did it. And it was, and DNA and a confession of the actual criminal don't even go into play because black male got to be guilty. You know, I can't live with myself if I actually did this. Yet, like, why I said it again is because yes, y'all can. Like Obama, yes, you can. See, because a lot of times, when people want to call the cops on brothers, it's for being black, male, and he has to be guilty of something. The reason why the cops take so long figuring stuff out and picking fights is because he's black, he's male. If we sit here long enough, we can figure out something to make up. There's no let it go, you know. Black man and white man get in a fight, guess who the cops going to arrest 9 times out of 10? Because black male got to be guilty. Right? So, and then people get mad at guys for responding like, I already know what it is. Even with the young brother that was doing the house inspection that has been put online with the white neighbor who called the cops. He was there, and there was a black woman who was a police officer. She's like, why they call here us? And he told the officer, he said, you know why they called. You know why she called. You know what her response was? I don't know. Oh, okay. Now you want to play stupid too. Because if you black male, you got to be guilty of something. And now, guys, some of you guys are smartening up. Like, look, man, you know, either give me the ticket, I got my paperwork, let's move on. Others, some of y'all do the dumb and your pride get in the way, and then you make an altercation because they're looking for an altercation, and then it goes left. Just stop doing that. Because no matter how you see it, how people see it, you black male and you guilty until, you know, you sue the hell out of somebody and get found out that you were innocent. You know, like I remember my aunt used to call Michael Jackson raped the little boy, and after Michael Jackson died, when the father committed suicide because the kid was gonna tell everybody that, you know, that came out and told everybody that Michael Jackson didn't touch him. It's like, you know, that's already out there. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he did it. You didn't care to look up the information. Same thing happened with the second person. The second person came out and said, yeah, he didn't do it, but my family wanted me to do this for money, to settle and get rich. But nobody cares about stuff like that because, you know, we're a society of a headline. Remember the headline, and we, you know, if you black and male, you gonna fit under that headline. But a year, 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, when the truth come out, oh, I forgot. I remember that. You remember you participated in destroying that person? Well, you know, they was black male, and I figured they was guilty, so it don't matter. It matters. We out.